that out-of-control car crash in New Jersey. An 88-year-old woman was behind the wheel when she suffered a medical emergency, leading to this. Her car, speeding, somehow made it cleanly under a bridge before slamming into a street light and two vehicles waiting at the intersection. The car also missed a pedestrian narrowly. Nobody, not even the driver, was killed. News 4's Adam Harding is live in Garfield with the details for us. Adam?
And Chuck, good evening to you. And what that video shows is the worker who walked under the train underpass just moments before that car comes speeding his direction. It happened on the sidewalk right there behind us here. The car comes up onto the sidewalk right as this guy is passing under the bridge, and police say came oh so close to getting struck by that out-of-control car. The Walmart employee can be seen strolling down Passaic Street early Monday, moments before an out-of-control car comes barreling right toward him. As soon as he walks out of frame, pay close attention to the sidewalk. And listen to the crash he somehow narrowly avoided. Debris shooting across your screen. This could have been much worse. Police say he's lucky.
PD Hate Crimes Task Force is investigating an incident against a Jewish man that happened in Borough Park, Brooklyn. Police say these guys got off of their scooter, knocked a yarmulke off the man's head. The victim was not hurt so far. No suspects or arrests.
At 5:06 this morning, and the latest now on New York City's asylum seeker.
Yeah, no problem.
Just going to put you in the back seat over here. Hold on, man, until you get the seat up. Okay, just take a seat in there for me, Lucy. I'll move that seat forward a bit. Sure. Yeah, I just had knee surgery. So. Oh, right, okay.
They told me that there's going to be a lot more deaths than I feel anticipated there. But did you have any concerns that there was a rise in the mortality rate? Yes. Okay, so tell me about that. What concerns did you have?
Yeah, this is the woman right here that was convicted of killing 7 babies, possibly even more. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this.
Again, with a disturbing discovery in the Bronx, a man's body found inside a garbage bag in a shopping cart. Hello, I'm Joe Torres. Sandra has the night off. Investigators are now trying to figure out how that man died. He was discovered at the intersection of Whitlock Avenue and Bruckner Boulevard this morning. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo joins us from the scene in Longwood. Anthony.
Joe, certainly a disturbing story, and people who live in this area, well, they've got lots of questions. The biggest one, who dumped that body there? Take a look here. It was found on this somewhat desolate stretch of Whitlock Avenue here in the Bronx, about halfway down that block. As you can see, the sidewalk is closed because of ongoing construction, and that body found in a black garbage bag in a cart next to this massive construction site. Police say the body of a man was discovered in a black garbage bag in a shopping cart on this stretch of Whitlock Avenue.
It's always really scary down there. No, you usually don't, it's not a good space to walk at night because it's really dark at night, so anything is very possible.
Residents at a nearby playground shocked by the discovery. One woman who lives in this neighborhood believes the body had been there since at least yesterday.
Found that man in the corner with the bicycle, and he told me he saw yesterday somebody there. But he looked and he said, they thinking somebody died.
It's unclear right now who exactly made the discovery, but police responded after getting a 911 call at 11:15 this morning. EMS pronounced the man dead at the scene. Police eventually moved the entire body and the cart into a body bag before it was taken from the scene at roughly 3:30 this afternoon. This leaving Longwood residents disheartened and with lots of questions.
Exactly. So that has you having your eyebrow up in your own neighborhood.
People we spoke to there, they were at a playground just about a half a block away from where this body was discovered. As you can see, obviously the scene is clear now, but this is just the beginning of this investigation. Police have not identified the man who was found there just yet, and of course there are more details we're waiting to hear about as far as how far along the decomposition was of this corpse, and of course the biggest question of them all, who dumped that body there?
Police are searching for a suspect in an assault on a 22-year-old woman aboard a train in Brooklyn. This attack began on the platform inside the Broadway and Myrtle Avenue station in Bed-Stuy, where investigators say the suspect grabbed the woman from behind. Police say they then boarded a southbound J train, argued before the suspect punched the woman repeatedly and made anti-LGBTQ comments. The woman was treated at an area hospital for a broken nose.
This morning, authorities in California are investigating what they say could be a hate crime. A California store owner in Lake Arrowhead, a mountain community east of LA, was shot and killed, allegedly by a man who took issue with a pride flag hanging in her store. California's governor saying this is absolutely horrific. This disgusting hate has no place in California.
New folks moving into town, new couples, new LGBTQ families, they were concerned about moving up here. And we hear stories about them driving by her store and seeing the flags and feeling so welcome. They immediately felt the acceptance and were no longer afraid to be up here. And Lori did that for them.
Authorities say the suspect, who has not been publicly identified, was fatally shot by sheriff's deputies during a confrontation. The victim, 66-year-old Laura Ann Carlton, leaves behind a husband and 9 children. The Lake Arrowhead LGBTQ organization saying Lori did not identify as LGBTQ+, but spent her time helping and advocating for everyone in the community. She will be truly missed. Her death comes during a year in which authorities say hate crimes against the LGBTQ community have spiked in California and elsewhere. The Anti-Defamation League citing an increase in rhetoric and certain legislation nationwide. The ACLU now tracking 491 pieces of what it describes as anti-LGBTQ legislation. Monsky Jefferson, star of HBO's GLAAD award-winning show We're Here, grew up.
We're dying. We're crying for help.
Yeah.
Children remain hospitalized this afternoon after police say they were home alone when a fire swept through their apartment in Brooklyn. As CBS 2's Ania Maldonado reports, police have arrested one of the parents. A Brooklyn father now facing charges after a fire broke out inside the family's 11th floor apartment in the Van Dyke houses along Livonia Avenue with 3 young children inside.
We were all crying. Everybody who was out here was crying.
They were sweet kids. It was very sweet kids.
Police say the 3 children were taken to the hospital in critical condition with symptoms of smoke inhalation Sunday around 11 a.m. Police say they're now stable but remain at the hospital. Their ages 8, 5, and 4 years old. Facing charges, 39-year-old Anthony Halliburton. Police say he's the father of 2 of the children. He's charged with 3 counts each of abandonment of a child and endangering the welfare of a child after police say the children were left home alone. Mayor Adams came out to see the destruction Sunday, showing pictures from inside the charred apartment. Fire officials say the smoke detectors inside were not working. One tenant we spoke with says on top of smoke detectors, there should be more fire precautions.
Again with that developing story, a hit-and-run driver who blew through a red light struck 7 pedestrians crossing the street in Midtown Manhattan. Police say the driver sped off to Queens right after the accident, where she got into another crash.
Finally, it ended with her arrest. Eyewitnesses report NJ Birkin live in Midtown with the developing details. NJ.
Truck is going past me right now. As you said, it was just before midnight last night. The car was headed eastbound on 36th Street when it plowed through a crowd of pedestrians after running through a red light. Well, the scene moments later, as you would expect, was pandemonium on the street. Bodies strewn across the street, thrown up onto the sidewalk, Dave. It was a very bad situation. A total of 7 people injured, bleeding from their heads and limbs, some suffering broken bones. The driver kept on going, as Michelle said, hurtled down 36th Street, eventually through the Midtown Tunnel, and then about 10 miles down the LIE, she crashed into 2 vehicles in Queens. Those drivers were not seriously injured. The driver of the car was identified by police as a 29-year-old woman from Somerset County, New Jersey. She was hospitalized and I'm told will undergo a psychiatric examination. Now, what led up to the incident? Still not clear 12 hours after it happened. Of those injured, all are said to be in stable condition. The most seriously injured pedestrian is a 36-year-old tourist from Italy who is listed in critical condition at this hour. Again, as I said a moment ago, what led up to this incident is not entirely clear. As you said, as the show was coming on the air, detectives are telling us that she told them she said a prayer before she closed her eyes, blew the red light, and then plowed into the pedestrians. It's all still a developing story. As I said, even 12 hours later, much more on this coming up.
Manhattan, a 15-year-old stabbed in the chest just a block away from Battery Park. Police say the teenager was inside Elizabeth Gerber Plaza at about 5 p.m. when someone dressed in all black attacked him. The victim is now at Bellevue Hospital in stable condition. No arrests and no motive for the stabbing.
Police are searching for a group of suspects accused of viciously robbing a rideshare driver. It happened on Friday, August 4th, on the Horace Harding Expressway in Queens. Police say the driver pulled over after he got into an argument with the suspects. Police say they started beating him. They tried to steal his car before taking his wallet. He was treated at the hospital. He's expected to be okay. Do you have any information who these people are? If you do, please call Crime Stoppers 1-800-577-TIPS.
At noon, police are investigating a deadly hit and run in Brooklyn. They say a dump truck hit a woman and drove away. Chopper 2 over the scene earlier this morning at Kingsland Avenue and Richardson Street in Williamsburg. Investigators say that woman later died at the hospital. No word yet on any arrests.
Now to that gun insanity story, and once again it has turned deadly. It started with a group of young people who apparently know each other, and when an argument broke out, so too did a gun. Now a 24-year-old mother of two from the Bronx is dead, and her heartbroken family is in mourning. They're also talking to Eyewitness News reporter Safan Kim live at the scene at the woman's house. Safan.
Well, Bill, that young mother of two was shot in the street, in her face, right in front of her home. The victim's mother still doesn't know what happened or how it happened, and she's asking the woman who shot her daughter to turn herself in.
My daughter, she was a free spirit. Beautiful. Beautiful. Talented. Angel. Mommy, my baby is good. My baby is good.
The mother of 24-year-old LaShawn Andrews and her sister wailing in the background. The loss of their loved one, leaving them crushed and in search of answers.
She's the type of person that would give you the shirt off her back. She was very polite. She was a great mom. She loved her children and other people's children. A great sibling. A great daughter. A beautiful daughter.
Andrew's mother says she lived with her boyfriend and their two young sons, just 4 and 3 years old. Cops say last night after 11:30 there was some sort of argument with a group of people she knew. That argument escalated, and according to cops, a woman in that group shot her in the face. Andrew's mother says her daughter had just placed her sons back into daycare so she could go back to work. She was looking forward to starting a security job next month. Her mother asking for her killer to come forward.
It wasn't that scared when you shot my daughter in the face. Reveal yourself. Turn yourself in.
Investigating a deadly hit and run in the Bronx tonight. They say a 32-year-old man was riding a moped along the Cross Bronx Service Road near Olmsted Avenue in Castle Hill when an SUV hit him. The victim was ejected and later died at the hospital. Investigators say the 22-year-old driver of the car left the scene but is now in custody.